this lecture, we will review content material in regards to getting ideas for research. Now, according to Bordern and Abbott in 2022, these are the questions that we should ponder when trying to get ideas for research. First, how do values and ideology affect the research process? 2, what can be done to reduce the influence of values and ideology in the research process? And 3, how do you develop hypotheses for research? Well, they suggest that good research questions should address important issues. A research question is probably important if 1, answering it will clarify relationships among variables known to affect the behavioral system under study. 2, the answer can support only one of several competing hypotheses. Or 3, the answer leads to obvious practical applications. Now, a research question is probably unimportant if 1, its answer is already firmly established. 2, the variables under scrutiny are known to have small, theoretically uninteresting effects. Or 3, there is no reason to believe the variables in question are causally related. Now, in this great article from Johns Hopkins suggests that before you start, these are a list of things that you must consider. First, what do you really know about your subject? Keep a list of key words, names, and events. Second, how long has your subject existed? Is it a relatively new concept with a lot published about it, or new and undiscovered? Third, what discipline does your topic fall into? A discipline is an area of study or branch of learning, for example, history, biology, and for us, psychology or the social sciences. Each has its own best starting points. Fourth, how are you reviewing the topic? Think about what you are planning to emphasize. Is it politics, history, or another aspect? Love, romance, what do you want to know about? And 5, what's the timing? How long do you have to do this project? How long does it need to be? Okay, now another great article in regards to coming up with ideas. And this is from StockExchange.com, and I found it fascinating. So here goes. The most exciting phrase to hear in science, the one that heralds new discoveries, is not eureka, but rather, that's funny. And that's from Isaac Asimov. That's funny. Okay, so in regards to coming up with great ideas, first thing, be challenged. Nothing sparks ideas more than being confronted with contradiction, healthy criticism, a spirited debate, maybe a bit of competition. Some people manage to do that by themselves, arguing against their ideas and improving them. Next, be curious. Ideas come from problems. Identifying worthy problems in your field of research and dissecting larger issues into specific problems of manageable scope is at least as hard as coming up with new ideas. In the end, especially for a researcher, all ideas are the result of one's curiosity. All right, manage to get some free time for thinking and not teaching, supervising, tutoring, reviewing, writing, sleeping. Actually, for thinking. body and mind. Sure, an idea can pop into your head anytime, but it's probably less likely to happen when you teach basic calculus all day than when you get some time to really think. Next, know your field. Know where a new development needs to occur. What is currently missing? One of the ways you can come with ideas is by analyzing how different groups work in your fields. Seeing that has been addressed and avoided. And also, what big questions are still open? And how can you link between different works to build a coherent global picture? Okay, so this is not always successful, but it usually generates some good ideas along the way. Explore more or less closely related fields and see if there is something from your background that you could apply to their problems or ways you could build something together. Such ideas tend to be very strong because you can oftentimes apply an entire branch of knowledge, and we're talking ideas, methods, algorithms, etc., to a very different problem. So in that case, the added value comes from your different perspective, as you might try things that others would not even think of. Okay, so ways have been devised to come up with new ideas on a given topic, either alone or in group sessions. So brainstorming is probably the best known such method and might be one of the most popular in one form or another. But a really large number of creativity techniques have been developed. They can be applied both to enhance creativity or to boost problem-solving efficiency. The next big thing is organizing your ideas. So a quote often attributed to Kant is, "Someone's intelligence can be measured by the quantity of uncertainties that he can bear." If that is true, that has serious consequences for research. So, accepting that your mind can only efficiently support a finite number of ongoing research ideas, you have come up with ways to write them down, to organize them, prioritize them, come back to them later, etc., etc., etc. Just as you cannot juggle as many balls as you would like, such external tools will help your brain focus on the ones that you assign high priority, or the ones to which it gives high priority. The brain works in funny ways. I don't mind you. What about you? Okay, so most people use very low-tech tools for that. For example, notebooks. And I know that's old school because a lot of people are into high tech now, but when you're thinking, a lot of people, they still use notebooks, either sorted chronologically or thematically. In the latter case, open a series of blank pages for each new project or idea and flip through the book whenever you want to check on them. And another old school method is Post-it notes, right? I'm sure we've all seen that in the movies, but Post-it scattered throughout one's real or virtual desktop is also very useful. And another thing that's called mind mapping, either on paper or software based. Using to-do lists, flat or two-dimensional to-do list software, or more complex tasks tracking software. And I love using to-do lists. I mean, I have multiple to-do lists for any project that I am doing. It's very, very useful. Finally, don't underestimate the possibilities opened by delegating. people in charge of a specific project or sub-project, for example, PhD students or postdocs, can be tasked with maintaining a list of ideas by all contributors of the project to come on for review later on. So that's a great idea. It's okay to delegate such responsibilities. Again, questions to ponder. How do values and ideology affect the research process? What can be done to reduce the influence of values and ideology in the research process? And last but not least, how do you develop hypotheses for research? And we will review some of these answers in my next lecture.